welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome, and my name is Katie. If you do enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you do enjoy my channel, then give it a subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, hi, and thank you so much for coming back. I'm really happy that you're here. On today's agenda, I'm very excited about this one, and I just want to kind of get into the video as well. I'm very excited. This is going to be the nose job video, which I know everybody has been after, and a lot of people on Instagram were like, hey, you know, what's happening with the nose job thing? And I was like, don't worry, I've got a plan. Like, I've done a load of the vlogs and everything already, so there's nothing to worry about. It is coming your way, but I wanted to wait until the 6-week mark after my surgery to actually like finish off this video in a sense. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing today. Before I get fully into the video and get completely excited, I do want to just check in with you guys. How are you guys doing? We are still in lockdown, but they have kind of leveled us down. A whole lot of stuff is still banned, but apparently from tomorrow we're allowed to go to the shops, which is bizarre. But anyway, that's, you know, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I would just like you guys to let me know how you guys are doing. You know, are you okay? Are you struggling? I know it can be hard on your mental health and everything else. It is very difficult to cope with. I'm finding it very difficult to cope with. Unfortunately, it is now part of our lives, so this is just something we have to learn to deal with. Please, before you get into this video, it's going to be long, I can tell you that, because I've filmed quite a lot. I've got quite a lot to say about it, so I do warn you, it's going to be a long video. But if you are interested in having the surgery, or you're just interested in general, or you know, whatever the case is, I think you will find this whole thing very interesting. There's basically, the way this video is going to be formatted is this will be the intro, and then we'll go into the sort of vlogs that I took on my phone while I was recovering. Be aware I look very, very ugly in a lot of them, and then after the vlogs are finished, I'm gonna go back to this again, and you'll see me and I'll be like, bye. And essentially, yeah, that's the structure of the video. But in this intro part, I'm going to sort of describe how you know, who the surgeons were, why I had it done, things I used for aftercare, all of those kind of things. So there's a few like hacks kind of things in here. I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily call them hacks, but they're probably just useful things to know if you are thinking of having it done. So yeah. Anyway, on that note, I've got my cranberry juice. If you would like to get something to drink for this very, very, very long video, please pop off and do so. It can be anything you want: gin and tonic, wine, cranberry juice, water, I don't know, anything. If you want snacks, whatever, get yourself all comfy, and yeah, let's get on with the video. So, I feel like I should do a little comparison, so I'm going to turn to the side, and I will put a picture that I took. This is so weird for me. Okay, please excuse my random pillows. Okay, so this is the side-on view of my face right now. It's freaking me out, but yeah, this is how I look now. I'm going to take a couple of pictures as well, so you will be able to see the healing kind of process, and I will do a before and after picture, just so that you guys can definitely get an idea of like how it was and how it is now, because I think that's quite important. And even for me, I would say, and that would be my #1 thing, take before pictures, and then whenever you are having one of those disastrous days, and I guarantee you will have disastrous days, because unfortunately that is just part of being a human, after the surgery, just go back to that picture and then take a picture with your phone and just remind yourself what you went from and to, because it's very important, I feel, to get some clarity and to, you know, get some context on the whole situation. then I just want to go on to some details. So I actually ended up having my surgery because I couldn't breathe. If you look at my previous nose pictures, I've taken some pictures from like the surgery and all of that jazz. If you take a look at the nose, it was also very, very squiff. Essentially what happened is they knew I had a deviated septum, and so because of that, because I couldn't breathe, the medical aid actually did pay for part of my surgery, which was very, very helpful. And because my nasal bone was so thin at the top, they had some real worries about what was going to happen when they went in, and so we opted to have the plastic surgeon to rebuild the nose, kind of just in case, but also, you know, there were problems that the ENT couldn't deal with, so you know, it's all kind of wrapped in. So I actually had two surgeons. I had an ear, nose and throat surgeon called Dr. Quail, and then I had a plastic surgeon called Dr. Snijman. Dr. Snijman, Chris Snijman, he is on the board of plastic surgeons in South Africa. He is one of the top plastic surgeons in South Africa, and I was lucky enough to be referred to him through a friend. I actually booked my consultation last year, October. It was actually my birthday gift, going to see a plastic surgeon, which I know a lot of people will find very bizarre. But if you're like me and you haven't been able to breathe for years, and you've hated your nose for years, it's just one of the most amazing things. And yeah, I went to go and see him the day after my birthday, I think I went to go and see him for the first time on, I think it was the 14th of October, somewhere along there. We had lots of discussions. The greatest thing about Chris Snijman is that he's so interested in you getting the outcome that you want and that you deserve. Basically, you pay his fee, and it's a once-off situation, and then you go back for your consultations, but you don't actually pay for those, and that is pre-surgery as well. So that is a real pro. And the same actually with Dr. Quail. Gavin Quail, he was recommended to me by Dr. Snijman, so I kind of did it in reverse, because the thing I've been told the most is that plastic surgeons can deal with deviated septums, but ENTs can't necessarily deal with damaged noses in the same way. So, you know, your nose you might be able to breathe, but your nose might not come out looking too great, essentially. So yeah, that is why I opted for those two surgeons, essentially. They're also both at the same clinic. I will obviously leave details below as well. I've definitely not been sponsored to do this in any way, and there's no money changing hands, nothing. I just kind of want to share with you guys the story, because I think that it could be very beneficial if you are interested. And also, please note, I'm not a medical professional, just a disclaimer. Obviously, I'm speaking from experience and from what I've heard from doctors. I don't have a medical degree, and yeah, so just, you know, please make sure that if you want to have, you know, anything done, please consult a surgeon, wherever that may be in your country, whatever the case is, and don't just take my word straight for it. But yeah, I did just want to just pop that in there. So yeah, those are the two surgeons I picked, and I'm really, really happy I went with them. Dr. Snijman particularly is an incredible surgeon, and he's also very, very good at kind of being there for you post-operatively. He's not like one of those who's like, okay, cool, I've done the operation, bye. You know, like, I'm sure your nose will be swell, just, you know, gonna whatever, bye. He's not one of those people at all. He's called me, he's chatted to me, and you know, it has been more difficult with this whole COVID-19 thing, because I actually went for my surgery on the 6th of March. So if you think about that, it's really like, I came out of surgery, I had a week to recover, and then as I was about to go back to college with my friends, essentially, South Africa closed down all the schools and colleges, and then we had shut down and lockdown and all of that jazz. So Yeah, it was an interesting time to have a surgery, and it meant that a lot of my post-op sort of consultations, that's the word, a lot of my post-op consultations are now just over the phone, and I just sort of check in with them. So yeah, that is that story. Then I obviously also want to go on, I know a lot of people want to know about the cost. So it's expensive. There's no two ways about it. Essentially, that's the way it is. If I had opted to just have a plastic surgeon do the entire job, I think it would have been a bit cheaper, but because of the way my nose is, it was necessary for me to have 2 surgeons, which made it even more expensive. But by the same token, having both of those surgeons involved, because they both write to the medical aid, they both say like, okay, well, you know, this is why she needs this done, and then you get pre-approval. So I did get pre-approval. I got it quite quickly, and then suddenly everything was in full swing. So I only booked my appointment to actually have the operation in the beginning of 2020. And I had tried to book it in a place which I thought would interfere the least with my subjects and all of that kind of thing. So I was really looking to, you know, make the best of a bad situation. But the way things are, I don't think it really would have mattered particularly, but I'm very lucky that I got it done while you know, elective operations were still allowed. So that is definitely a pro, and I'm very, very pleased, and I feel very, very blessed to have had it done, and to be kind of out of the woods in terms of not being in hospitals, not being, you know, anywhere near that. So very, very good. Speaking of my nose, now it's itchy. I think it knows I'm talking about it. So sort of about the cost, to go into that, I think that the bill on the nose job was probably about, with the hospitalization and everything, I think the first quote, which is just a basic quote, was somewhere along the lines of 60,000 Rand. If you're freaking out at this point and going, oh my god, that's so much money, it is so much money, but just remember that that does include hospitalization and stuff like that. And if you have a medical aid, most of the time they pay for the majority of that, because altogether I think with the ENT and the plastic surgeon we pay 25,000. That's where that money is coming from. That's why it's in my head. But yeah, I think so the whole thing actually came for us to around 25,000. It would have been a lot more had we not had medical aid. I would guess probably nearer 80 or 90,000 Rand. So medical aid, very helpful. And it's amazing because, you know, I honestly, I can't even explain to you how blessed I feel to have had this surgery. Like, I really can't. I know a lot of people don't understand why I wanted it, and a lot of people think I'm a bit crazy for having it, but I just, like, I couldn't be happier. And I'm not even, you know, I'm not even past a few months yet, really, but the difference is just insane. It's just amazing. So I do just want to pop that in there. And I also just want to say thank you, a huge thank you to my parents, who did foot the bill for this, and it was like my birthday and Christmas and birthday and Christmas and birthday and Christmas gifts. It's definitely, I think it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So that's money wise, and I know a lot of people worry about the way you look afterwards. So you will see in the vlogs after this how I looked, and I've done it day by day. So I've said how many days post-op it is and all of that. I think really you have to take your you have to kind of do a risk assessment. You have to decide whether you think it's worth it. If you think it's worth it, then, you know, you'll do anything. Personally, I was like, I don't care. I don't care how I look. I don't care how swollen I get. I just don't care. Like, I just want this done. That being said, there is a lot of swelling and it is quite a lot to look at yourself for the very first time after you come out of theatre, and sort of just it's not pleasant. Let me just put that out there. It's not pleasant. There's blood everywhere, and my forehead and here, like, I was honestly so swollen. I thought my eyes were going to close and I was never going to be able to open them again. That is how swollen I got. So having said that, although I didn't mind in theory, in practice it is a lot different, and I do think that's something just worth noting, because it's hard. It's hard to look at yourself like that. It's, you know, it's not something you can really prepare yourself for, unfortunately. And, you know, as someone who loves an instant gratification here, that is not what a nose job's going to do for you. I mean, mine, although it was a nose job, a rhinoplasty, it was a nasal reconstruction, essentially, which is even worse in a sense. So then the non-surgeon's answer to what is the difference between a rhinoplasty and a septoplasty. Rhinoplasties work on the outside of the nose, so they're actually, like, looks-wise, whereas septoplasties are internally based. And a nasal reconstruction, as I understand it, is a combination of both. So it's a septoplasty and a rhinoplasty together. So that's essentially what I had. Now, an entire nasal reconstruction requires them graphic depictions here, and I don't have any pictures of this, and I wouldn't be showing you them anyway, because I just didn't know. Basically what they do is they cut the skin at the bottom, and then they kind of take all the nose skin. I don't know how it happens. I've seen the pictures. It's baffling. I still can't quite grasp what. Anyway, you know, there's no marks. I don't understand. Anyway, they take the skin and then they roll it back, and then they kind of pull it to the forehead, and then you kind of gets pinned on. So gross. But essentially that's what happens. I'm not doing a particularly good job of describing it, but I think I prefer to go with that than actually show you any pictures, because if you are interested, you can just type the words open nasal surgery into Google, and that should give you a pretty good idea of what you look like. So yeah, they peel the skin off the nose. Now, an open rhinoplasty or septoplasty or nasal reconstruction, whatever you want to call it, those are all, the open ones are obviously much more invasive than the closed ones. So with an open one, you know, your bone becomes exposed. In my case, when they went in there, not only was my septum deviated, but essentially the way these two surgeons work is they don't work together. They're not like, you know, it's not how you would imagine it. Well, I imagined it, where they're like both in the room at the same time, and they're like tick 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 tick, you know, and it's, I don't know what that sound was, but you know what I mean. Like, they're all operating at the same time, but that's not the case at all. Basically, it's first the ENT, and then the plastic surgeon comes and takes over. So they're not even in the room together, and basically because the ENT, you know, he does all the inner work, so that's the one, obviously he needs to come first. So that's the ENT's job. And when you basically, when he opened my nose up, which was, you know, obviously his fun job, he actually said that it was really difficult. He told my mum afterwards that it was actually really difficult because they found a bone spur across here. So that was the reason that I actually couldn't physically breathe in through this nostril, which explains so much really when you think about it. But yeah, there was a big spur of bone which had grown, and it shouldn't have been there, but it was definitely trauma related, he said. And I'd hit my nose a couple of times, you know, netball and all of those things. So he said it was definitely trauma related, and yeah, this whole random spur of bone had grown and blocked the sinus, which was the cause of me getting lots of sinusitis and getting very blocked nose, struggling with hay fever. struggling with breathing, all of that jazz. So essentially that was his job. He took the bone spur out and he took the septum and realigned it and all of that jazz, and he basically said that there's essentially a bone and then there's cartilage, and what's supposed to happen is they just meet like that and there's no overlap, but with mine there was overlap as well. So as you know, you can't just also file it down, because if you file it down the whole thing just goes inwards. So especially with a bridge of with the bridge of my nose, which was very, very thin. So they had a few catastrophes. Everyone was kind of expecting it because they'd all obviously felt my nose, so it obviously wasn't the ideal situation, but they kind of knew what they were in for, which I think was helpful. Well, I'm sure it was helpful for them. And then once he'd done that, then the plastic surgeon comes in and he takes, I think he's the one who cuts it here and pins your nose to your head, essentially, and yeah, then he works with it open, and he reconstructed. He said that basically what he had to do was he had to grind down cartilage and sort of re-pop it on the top to make a smooth bridge. I don't know, there's a whole lot of stuff. Obviously not medically trained, so I'm just kind of repeating words that they've said to me, but yeah, essentially he said he had to grind down cartilage and then put it back over to give it a nice smooth transition from bone to cartilage. I'm very glad he was able to do that, but basically because of that, and I can still feel it. If I feel this part of my nose, it goes in, whereas this side actually pops out, and that is because this is where he broke the nose. This is where the plastic surgeon broke the nose, so that is obviously taking the longest to heal. So there are a few things to just be aware of. Obviously time is one of the big things. Now I am an instant gratification person. I wanted to come out of surgery and know that I had a perfect nose. Besides, I mean, this is on top of the fact that my surgeon had said to me so many times, Chris was like, there's no such thing as a perfect nose. And his one major thing is he doesn't do sloping noses. He doesn't do ski slope noses. So, he's not into the Hollywood nose. That's not what he does. He gives people back the ability to look how they should have looked, essentially without the deformity. And in my case, that deformity was actually caused through an injury to the nose. So that's what his whole thing is. So he's not into he's not going to take someone else's nose and pop it on your face. That's not what he does, and I was actually really, really glad about that. At the same time, you always get shown really cute pictures of noses, and everybody, that we like has that Hollywood nose. But having said that, I am absolutely thrilled with the nose I have, and it is only 6 weeks post-op, so it is still actually swollen, which is almost unbelievable to me. So yeah, going through the whole process, I think the thing that was most important, that I would say is most important to remember, is that it takes time. Don't think that, because when the cast comes off it's not the way you want it to look, that it's wrong, or that it's going to look like that for a long time, because I did that as well. All you do is cause yourself undue pressure and stress. There is no reason to do that. You have to trust your surgeon. You have to trust that they know what they're doing. And if you don't trust your surgeon, then you probably shouldn't have gone under the knife with that surgeon in the first place. I always trusted Chris, so it wasn't such an issue in that respect, but I'm one of those very highly strung people. I have huge anxiety, and so I found the whole situation very, very stressful, and I was very uptight about the whole situation a lot, and I was obsessive about taking pictures from the side to see whether there was still a bump, and it was only when I actually did a side-by-side comparison of before and after to that day, and I sort of suddenly realized, I was like, oh shit, this is what my nose used to look like compared to now. That's a massive difference, but I hadn't actually noticed that. So that's why in the beginning I said that I think that is probably one of the most valuable things you can do, is just side-by-side comparisons, because as humans, I think we tend to forget very, very quickly and very conveniently, you know, what we actually looked like before, you know, what the problem was before, what was the issue, and I'd started going, oh, well, nothing's changed. And when I looked at the pictures, I was like, oh my god, Kate, you're insane. This is so different, and it is so nice, and you should feel so blessed. And so that is kind of what I would suggest. And I know I'm not alone, everybody does it. Plastic surgeons hate it, because essentially that is the cause of so many problems. And I mean, I suppose of so many people going back for surgeries again and again and again. And I think that the key thing is just to understand how far you've come, and just realize that with most surgeons, they will always offer you a solution. So if there is a problem, and you know, things do start to go wrong while it's healing or whatever the case is, they will step in. You know, it's also their work. You know, they don't want you to represent, they don't want your face to, you know, be screwed up, and then it, you know, it's basically, that's their work, that's what it says about them as a surgeon. So you also have to remember that. And I do just think patience is such a virtue in this situation. And yeah, don't be fooled by all of the Instagram situations. I won't mention any names, but people who have nose jobs and then supposedly a couple of days afterwards they're taking off the cast and they've got this no, that's not, it's not happening. I also filmed all the way up until I had the cast taken off, and then afterwards as well. So you'll be able to see all of that situation. I had the cast on for 7 days. It is very sore to remove, and they do actually stick it to your skin. So yeah, I think the funniest thing is actually that the pain in my arm from the drip was so much worse than any other pain I had here. I think the worst thing about any kind of, like with the nose job, was the actual discomfort more than anything else. First of all, like, you're very swollen. You're trying to look at your face, you're very, very swollen. It's very, very difficult. You know, you're not able to wear glasses, obviously. You know, and in the beginning weeks you're not putting contacts in and stuff, so you know, your eyes are all swollen shut, and you know, there's a whole bunch of things that it just means it's so uncomfortable. One of the main things that I wasn't told was you can't blow your nose. That was never mentioned to me, and that is not in any of the videos either that I watched. You can't blow your nose for like 2 weeks after your surgery. I kind of assumed that you could, and my mom was like, no, you can't blow your nose. So then obviously I didn't blow my nose, but yeah, that is very difficult to deal with, because as gross as it sounds, while it's trying to heal, there's blood, there's postnasal drip, there's stitches in there, which, by the way, do not ever pull on your stitches. I itched my nose once and sort of like pulled one. Honestly, it's like being punched in the face. Don't do that, you will hit the roof. Yeah, you've got all sorts of stuff in there, and there's a whole bunch of gunk, and you know, obviously there's snot in there, and you can't get rid of it because your nose is so swollen inside and so blocked up. There's nothing you can do about it. And then when you think you should be able to blow your nose, you're not allowed to blow your nose, and it becomes the most annoying thing in the world. It is what is on your mind like 24/7. You're like, oh my god, all I want to do is blow my fucking nose. That is all I want, and you can't. And that is the worst part, but deal with it. stay strong, and eventually your surgeon will tell you when you can blow your nose. And by blow your nose, he does not mean like, you know, like really give it a big blow, but more like, you know, gently let some stuff out. And I can't tell you how much better I've been feeling throughout, since I've been able to blow my nose. And there's also sinus rinses and all of those things that they give you, and every doctor has a different sort of thing that they prescribe. I got prescribed Iliadin in the beginning, and Fusidin, and yeah, all they give you other than that is painkillers. And I did take some painkillers, but I will say it was definitely not the worst pain of my life. I kind of expected it to be worse, because I thought, you know, oh my god, it's my face, but the swelling was so much more annoying than anything else. So if you're looking for a benefit, that's one. So I think I've covered all of the questions, except for what I used to kind of help the bruising. I had read a couple of people had said like, oh, you know what you should do is buy like a neck pillow. Terrible idea. Don't do that to yourself. I mean, you can if you want to. It does kind of help you not move, but my neck has never been more sore than when I came out from using that damn neck pillow. I cannot explain to you guys how terrible it was. I would suggest, I saw one lady say get a pregnancy pillow, and then obviously it's one of those V-shaped ones and you put it here, and apparently that kind of helps your lower back as well, because that's one of the problems is while you're trying to sleep, you have to sleep upright as much as possible. And sleeping upright is, one, not comfortable at all, and two, you're not allowed to, you know, you can't breathe, you can't blow your nose, you have to sneeze with your mouth open. It's all a bit crazy, to be honest, and it's just so uncomfortable, and your lower back, your whole lower back and your neck get very, very sore and very, very tight, and it's incredibly uncomfortable. So if there's one thing I would say is maybe if you do have substantial time before, my suggestion would be maybe buy one of those pregnancy pillows, those V-shaped ones, and pretend that you've had the nose job and lie sort of basically straight up and see how comfortable you are, because that will be able to prepare you to see if that's enough, and, you know, maybe get used to it over a period of time. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I would have done that in retrospect. So there you go. In hospital, I had to stay the night in hospital. I hardly slept. It was really horrible, and you snore, just, you know, to make things so much nicer. You do snore because you can't shut your mouth, basically, because that's how you breathe. You have to have your mouth open, so it's not ideal. It's there are multiple things about it that, you know, obviously it's difficult to deal with, but end of the day, you do get a shiny new nose, and you get to be able to breathe, which is splendid. So you do have to decide, kind of thing. But yeah, those are just a few things that I picked up, and what I did is I took earphones, and then I just had my earphones in all night, and I listened to a podcast. And another thing that I forgot to mention that someone else did mention is button-up t-shirts, or t-shirts with really big necks, button-up shirts, button-up pajamas. They will become your new best friend, because honestly, you're not putting things over your head. You can't, especially not without help. So yeah, button-up things are a really, really good idea. I pretty much wore just jeans and a button-up shirt for quite a while after my operation, because it was just easiest, and it meant I didn't have to risk, you know, bumping my nose or anything. So yeah, that's the last one, I think, the kind of packs, I guess. And then finally, I just want to go on to the things that I purchased. So if you did watch last week's video, you will be aware of a couple of these things, but before I get onto those, I want to start with this. Now, not all doctors agree that this is a good idea. Personally, it worked so well for me. I used arnica every single day, twice a day, under my eyes, and once my cast was off, obviously over the bridge of my nose. The way I did it was that I put it on very, very delicately with an earbud, and yeah, just sort of smooshed it around really delicately, really gently, and I found this incredible. I don't know obviously how I would have done without it, but I have heard only good things about Onica, and obviously with bruises and sprains I've had before, I've used it and it's worked. I think it did help to reduce the swelling and to kind of help against all of the bruising and stuff I might have had otherwise, because the bruising can be quite bad, especially under your eyes. Though I did bruise, it wasn't that bad and it did go away fairly quickly, and I definitely would credit Arnica with that. Then before I go on to the other little things, I do just want to mention, either get a toothbrush with a very small head. I have one now that actually has an incredibly small like toothbrush head, or get a children's toothbrush, because children's toothbrushes obviously are very small and you can't open your mouth that wide, and because you've got all this packing and stuff like here, it's almost impossible to brush your teeth. So yeah, children's toothbrush or one with a really small head is a definite need for hospital and for after indeed. So these were in obviously last week's video, which I will just pop on a little banner thingy there. This one is the Body Shop Vitamin C serum. So this actually, I can't remember which YouTuber said to have vitamin C serum, but somebody said the vitamin C serum was such a lifesaver for her nose job, and so I was like, okay, you know what, let me go and find one. And I looked and essentially ultimately I decided, you know what, it's easiest to go with the Body Shop. It's not the cheapest, but it's definitely the easiest, and it's definitely you know, it's safe because you know what's going in there, you know what you're buying essentially. So yeah, this is the vitamin C serum. It's a skin boost, and I put it under my eyes, and that was it. I just sort of put it here, and then once my nose had really started healing, I would put some over the bridge of the nose. But yeah, I did wait, I think, a week after I'd had the cast off to do that. Then this is face serum from the Beauty Works. This is the collagen one. Now I presume that obviously collagen is good for your skin, so my presumption was, like, if you've had an operation, collagen boost can only be good, right? So yeah, that's why I ended up getting this. This was from Discom. It wasn't that expensive. It was actually cheaper than this one, so definitely just worth noting. But yeah, I found it really good, and I'm using both still in my skin routine, and I'm really enjoying them, and I find them both really good. The only thing I would say about face serum is it's all good to use as long as you're not wearing much makeup. Then you can just kind of pop it on. When you do want to wear makeup, or you do want to put on like a thicker moisturizer after, like, just be really careful about the amount of drops you use. I use 2 drops, otherwise it sort of all congeals on your skin, and it's, yeah, it's not nice. It goes all lumpy, and it, you know, then you have to like brush it off, and what a mission. So basically that's the story with that. But those are the things I used, that and my little toothbrush. And yeah, so I think that kind of brings me to the end of this part of the video, which is like so long. But yeah, that brings me to the end of this part of the video, and then enjoy seeing the vlogs and everything, and then I will see you later at the end of the video. Nope. Okay, so just a little bit of a couple of notes on the procedure. I'm just going to be tying my hair back when I go into hospital. Obviously no makeup. I know my eyebrows look a bit hectic. That is purely because I've just gone in for, I had microblading and then I had micro shading on top of that. So my eyebrows look kind of perfectly like done, and it's a bit weird, but that's like, well, fortunately actually, that's how they're gonna stay. So I won't have to deal with that. But I have heard from other people that you actually can't wear any makeup for a good amount of time on your face. So this is how I'm gonna look now to my natural skin. I'm not too unhappy about it. My skin is relatively good. And to be honest, most of it's going to be covered up with a bandage anyway, so I really don't think that there's much to worry about in terms of that. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to curl my hair, because I feel like I might just, not because I need to, just because I've got a lot of time, to be honest, because I obviously went and showered and got ready. I can't drink any water anymore and I'm thirsty, I'm annoyed. Yeah, so a couple of things I did that I would say at this point I definitely recommend is that get as much of you sorted out as possible. If you're one of those people who likes to look put together and like proper all the time, like, you know, I recommend having like a microblading treatment if you're not that happy with your eyebrows, because you physically cannot get to this part of your face, and they just don't want you to wear any makeup. So if you're uncomfortable with your eyebrows in terms of that, I would say maybe go and get that done. I made sure I had mine finished, so I had the micro shading on top of the microblading. Obviously you have to wait 6 weeks, so obviously I've waited, and then I sort of planned it so that I could have it just before my operation. So they're not finished healing, they're a bit scabby, which is not ideal, but I think I won't be noticing that fairly soon, so I think it'll be fine. And yeah, then just, I had my hair cut yesterday as well, because anaesthetic can do really shitty things to your hair. So if you've already got split ends, it's not ideal. So I just went in and had like just a trim on my hair, so I have a hairstyle as well. And then I also got my nails done. I always go to, I don't know if you can see that now. This camera hates me, it's fine. Why do you hate me? There we go. So I always go to Salon Geisha. Oh, good. So, you know, it's not my face. That's the real problem. Maybe you'll like it more tomorrow. I don't know. Anyway, so I always go to Salon Geisha in Parkhurst for my nails, and Gwen is such a lovely business owner, and I love supporting small business, and especially small businesses that are run by women. So this has gone blurry. This is why I have to keep looking over at this, because this camera is just, it's hating on me. Anyway, so yeah, I love supporting local business. So if you are in the Joburg area, obviously sort of close-ish to Parkhurst, I really recommend going to them. I go to V, she's my nail tech, and she is great. I have had really shit nails for a very long time, and yeah, now they're actually back together, and these are like my natural nails, just with a I think it's called Infinity Gel on top of it. So I'm really happy, and I'm really proud to actually have my nails. Obviously it's a bit weird having short nails. I'm always wearing like very long stiletto shaped nails, so this is quite weird for me. But I started having short nails quite a while ago in order to kind of get my brain used to it and get my body used to it, because I think I'll have enough problems, and I just didn't think I needed to bring long nails into the picture. I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure whether you're allowed gel in hospital, but no one ever said no. So, and no one ever looked at my nails and went, you can't have them. So I was just like, I'm having them. So, hopefully, it should be fine. Well, there's nothing they can do about it now, and now it's there on my nails. It is what it is. So yeah, I think that's always good, because if you go and have your nails done just before you go into hospital, you you know, you always come out of an operation, doesn't matter what it is, you always feel a bit of a mess. And so I thought it'll be a really good idea to just have my nails done so that I'm as put together as possible in the parts I can be. I've also just, the only makeup I am wearing, I know you're not allowed any, so it's not really makeup, it's just a little bit of powder on the places of my face that get greasy, just because it'll absorb anyway, and it's not changing my skin in any way, and it's not going to cause a problem sticking things. In fact, it'll probably help. So that is the only thing I've put on my face, and I have put on some lip ice. I've heard that your lips really get a little bit like very, very dry and quite cracked because of the operation. So what I'll do is afterwards, I think this is going to be just one of those like really long videos, so I'll edit it down as much as I can, but basically what I want to do is put like one long video about this whole operation, and then what I'll do is I'll put time tags in the bottom so that if you're only interested in like what you should take for the hospital for surgery, or if you're only interested in the recovery and what it looks like or whatever, you can get to those parts. Basically I want to do all the recovery together. I'm only going to do like I think a week of recovery. I'm not entirely sure yet, I haven't entirely decided, but I think I'm just going to do like a week of recovery, and just so you can see what it will look like by the time I go back to college. And then I will, my plan is, I don't know how well I'm going to do at this, I'll be honest, but my plan is to keep sort of vlogging, and obviously I'm going to keep doing YouTube videos, so you will be able to see in that, but I will post this one hopefully after another one, but we'll see how this goes. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to handle this, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do a blog post about it or not. I'm going to see how the process goes. I think it might be easier to do it like this because, to be honest, it's just easier for everyone, isn't it? Anyway, that brings me to the end of this part of the video with my funny, funky hair. Yeah, so I will see you guys in hospital. Bye! Hi everyone. So, my god. It's actually quite tragic to look at myself like this. It's going to take a bit of effort to put this on the internet, I think. But at the same time, I do want people to get like an honest view of what it's like to have this operation done. So yeah, I look quite tragic. I think the end of my nose is really, really swollen as well, and my skin is like really shiny because it's so swollen. And like if I close my eyes, you can see that it's all bruised along here already. So I'm gonna try using some cold compresses to help swelling go down. I know I sound like I'm about to cry, but I'm not. It's just how I sound right now. So yeah, I thought I'd just check in. But this is, I guess, 24 hours after the operation. I got out of, it's just after 24 hours. So I got in from surgery yesterday at 5 o'clock-ish. I went in at 1:30. So it's a long surgery as well, it was 3 hours. And I got back in at 5-ish into the ward after recovery. And yeah, so it's about 24 hours since I had the op, and this is how I look. So very swollen, especially like I wasn't expecting this, like by my forehead here. And yeah, I'm just chilling in the bathroom because I just couldn't think of anywhere else to go with good lighting, and I don't want to try and manage a camera and everything. So you can see though, it looks like I've done a terrible job of eye makeup here. And
unfortunately your nose does drip and there's a headache that goes with it. But anyway, I thought I'd come and check in, and then I will update you again tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Oh my god, this by the way is my dog. She's much prettier to look at, so enjoy this view instead. Oh my god, my face is so swollen today. My eyes, I do look like I've been punched, and this is also after I've just put on a cold compress. So yeah, it's a look. So just a little slice of reality, because this is Sunday morning. That was like 2 days after, honestly, and everything is just so swollen. I feel like death a little bit. I'm sort of having one of those moments today, like, what have you done to yourself? And I know it will get better. Oh my god, it's just, I'm in so much pain and so swollen. I'm not even recognisable to myself. Good evening, everybody. So, oh my god, hang on a second. This is the day. So it's now 7:45 on Sunday the 8th. Yeah, on the 8th of March. So that makes it sort of 2 days after I had my operation done. I'm just sitting here in the bathroom, and I just thought I'd catch up with you guys really quickly. The swelling around my face is still quite high, but it has gone down along here, which I'm really pleased about, because it was quite sore, and you can see where the defined swelling is down by my eyes, and if I close them you'll be able to see that they're both like purple on top, and I still look a bit like a potato, which is not ideal, but part and parcel of that. So it has been two days since the operation. Since this morning the swelling has decreased. I think you can just see that all of my face is still swollen, just even here. So yeah, it's a bit weird, and it's really odd seeing yourself like this, but I just wanted to kind of come in and say hi and fill you guys in on it, just so you guys have a little bit of an update. And I've been using, to get the swelling down, I've been using arnica quite a lot. I've been using this one, which is just the one you can get at discounts from Vitaforce, and this has been pretty good, I think, because the swelling has come down. I'm also using the Vitaforce arnica tablets, and then another thing that I'm really glad I got before I went into hospital is this, which is a little children's toothbrush, which I give a 10 out of 10 because you cannot open your mouth that much. And I also had forgotten that the bottom of the mouth is the top of your nose is the top of your mouth. Can't even get that out. But yeah, so it's quite important that you have a toothbrush you can get into your mouth, and the normal adult ones are quite difficult. So that's my sort of couple of things I have noticed have done wonders for me right now. On the plus side, you'll now also be able to see that my eyebrows are now peeling as well, so at least my eyebrows look good. This is the one thing. So I have to thank the young woman Marshall who did my eyebrows, because they look splendid. This one's still a bit darker, but this one's been peeling more. They look really good, and they are the only part of my face that is stuck with me through this. So anyway, I'll chat to you all soon. Good evening, everybody. So Please excuse my potato-like appearance this evening. I thought I'd just check in with everybody just so that you can see, oh my god, my eyes are already hurting today, what kind of look I'm going for today. And I do look like, this is a bit of a niche thing to say, but I do look like a Terry Barber Beauty Instagram picture. Just go look it up on Instagram and hopefully it all makes sense. Yeah, so the bruising is quite gnarly. Oh, I do feel like I'm gonna die. So you can see that under my eyes it's quite yellow, quite purple, really multicolored, multifaceted eye makeup look I'm going for. But other than that, the swelling has definitely come down today. It's still swollen up here, I'm still feeling it there. And this bag under my eye, this side seems to be worse than this side. So that's a bit interesting. But yeah, just to catch you up. Also on the healing process of my brows, which appear to be pretty much healed. So that, ow. Yeah, anyway, I will catch up with you tomorrow. Like, I really do apologise though, because I do look like a potato. So to make up for it, here's my dog. Say hello. You don't look like a potato. Are you yawning? You're gonna say hi. Good evening everybody. So I almost forgot to update tonight. And of course I look like a little bit of a potato again. A combination of my still swollen face, the bruising under my eyes, this gorgeous little nose thing I've got on here. It's all going for a really nice look, so I just thought I'd just quickly update you guys. So the swelling is much less today. You can see my eyes are practically back to their normal size. My brows, as always, completely not interested in this whole situation. They've been almost unaffected, except when they went a bit swollen and shiny. The bruising has really come out here over the eye, so I do look like I've been punched. I would say the most uncomfortable thing at the moment is, first of all, this. It's obviously it's stiff, it's a splint. Oh my god. So this is the thing, it's so itchy, and like it's so itchy underneath. Like all I want to do is just itch my nose, which is a really good sign, because when everything's itched like that, it means that they are healing. But it is also incredibly frustrating because there is nothing I can do and I can't get there, and you can't scrunch your nose because it hurts, and ugh, what a mission. Anyway, the other big thing is, I think I mentioned this in yesterday's part of the vlog, just that you cannot blow your nose, and this is getting increasingly annoying. I've got so many nose sprays and everything to put up my nose and everything into my sinuses, try and flush them out, keep them moist and all of that, which I'm doing, but it's absolutely killing me not to be able to just blow my nose like a normal person, because it's all like down the back of my throat. It's really uncomfortable. So yeah, I would say that's the most frustrating thing. I really do look like a potato. But anyway, that is just a little update for you guys, just so that you know what's happening today. And today is Tuesday, which means it is, God, I can't count, I can't even focus. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's pretty much 4 days post-op. 4 days. I can count. I know what I'm doing. I'm amazing at this mathematical thing. Anyway, I am going to go to bed now. It is nearly 11:30. It takes a while to get ready with all of this. So I'm off to bed now. And I will catch up with you guys again tomorrow. Bye. Good evening everybody. So I'm really sorry, because I always seem to remember at the moment to take these videos when I look most like a potato, and I'm really not sure what my hair is doing here. You will notice I've eventually got my bracelet back on. I forgot the word for that in a second. Anyway, what have I got to tell you? It's Wednesday evening, so I think it's 5 days post-op. Yeah. It's 5 days post-op, and I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear at the moment because, again, I keep reiterating this. I know I say it every single night, but I can't blow my nose, and it's making me really upset. I'm also feeling a bit sort of tender personally because actually your girl decided that she'd had enough of being stuck in the house. So my parents were going out and they suggested that I come with them to get something to eat, just because I've been a bit iffy about being in the house all the time, so I really wanted to leave, wanted to get out, wanted to do some stuff. So I was a bit like half and half because like my face looks like this, so I was like, is it gonna be okay? I'll insert a terrible quality picture that I took of myself in the car to send to a friend. That is what it looked like, which is not too bad, I didn't think. I managed to put on some makeup a little bit. My eyebrows obviously great, and yeah, put on some lipstick, mascara. It's amazing what a little bit of makeup and hair styling can do for you. This hair is just, stop with your things, man. Anyway, whatever about the hair. So yeah, I went out with my parents, and the reason we went out for dinner is actually because of load shedding. Now, if you aren't from South Africa, do not fret if you don't understand what the hell I just said. But basically, load shedding is when they turn off the power for a set amount of time so that they can stabilize the power supply in the country. Very confusing. That definition of it was terrible. I'll put like a little definition on screen if there is one, if I can think of one. I'll try. Anyway, there was load shedding, which means we didn't have power for 4.5 hours, so it was right over dinner time as well. Makes it really difficult to cook and stuff, and I didn't really eat today, to be honest, because I had such a crap night Tuesday night. So I woke up this morning feeling terrible. So my mum was like, listen, just, you know, you don't have anything to do specifically, so why not just use this time and actually go back to sleep for a bit if you can. And then, of course, magically, my body was like, oh, yeah, sleep, what a good idea. And then I woke up at like 12 noon. I was like, why can't you just have slept like this when you were supposed to be sleeping, instead of being up all night going choking and having a time? Anyway. Oh god. Good job, Kate. Managed to stop the video. In any case, so I slept that long, which means I only had like fruit then, and obviously I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat anything again. And then we went out, and then we had dinner, so I kind of just ended up having basically like one meal today. But anyway, it's all good, doesn't matter. I got some rest, which is vital. Yeah, so when I went out, it was quite bizarre though, because like I'm quite used to this being on my face, and although I'm still really quite aware of it, and it freaks me out, and it's very itchy underneath there, so I'm very much aware of it. Like, I know it's on my face, but I haven't had any of those stricken reactions from people, because everybody who's in my life knew this was happening, knew I was gonna do it, so there wasn't anyone who was like super shocked when they saw me. I mean, Alexa, shout out to you, because you did look a bit harassed when you first saw me, like, shit. And I was very swollen that day as well. So, phone ran out of storage, so okay, let's see if it'll do it. iPhone storage, what a mission. Anyway, so it was a really, really bizarre situation to go out and obviously experience people in real life who didn't know what was happening, they'd never met me before, and everyone was quite sort of like, I don't know, they didn't know what to do, so no one would like look me in the eye, and it was all quite bizarre. So I felt a bit like emotionally stripped when I came home, because I was like, I feel like everybody was looking at me and being like, what is wrong with her? Did she have a nose job or whatever? Which, like, yes, I did, but you know, I was still like, I was very aware of people not being able to meet my eye, which was very, very odd. But other than that, it went okay. I had a great dinner, and got back home, power's back on, everything's swell. So just a little update for today. Much more exciting than the rest of these little updates have been. Anyway, I will chat to you guys again tomorrow. Bye.
You yet? No. That was the ENT surgeon who did that, not me. Okay, so it's going to give now. There it comes. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I can feel the difference with you touching it.
Yeah. This will stick a bit. There you go. Splint is off.
How does it look?
Swollen?
Very swollen.
Is it straight though? That's
Yes.
all I want.
Straighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
To you it's straighter.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
it
everybody
is.
else it's straight.
Yeah.
All right, so all we're going to do now is I'm just going to give you a little bit of a clean, okay? And I'm going to take out some of those little stitches. Inhale, exhale, read your hand. Hey?
Do you want me to keep...
Good morning everybody, so it is me, I'm back. Just to quickly update you, it's Saturday, so that means it's been 8 days since my operation. I had my cast taken off yesterday, which you'll see in the clip, which you would have seen in the clip, and yeah, my nose is very, very swollen, and it feels like it doesn't belong to me, which is really, really, really bizarre. That's probably the worst thing to deal with, is that it just doesn't feel like it belongs to me. So yeah, it's really bruised and swollen. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, it is. That's my dog's toy. It is quite swollen, quite bruised, and quite painful, and yeah, it's giving me a terrible headache and a terrible runny nose. And the thing is, this is the time of the coronavirus, so your girl sounds sick, but I'm not. I'm just really bunged up because my sinuses are all still swollen and it's really, really inflamed and everything. So I really don't think I'm sick. I think I'm just sick and tired of not being able to breathe. I'm also still not allowed to blow my nose, because they did so much work on my nose, and the bones still need to settle, so I'm still not allowed to blow my nose, which is really, really frustrating. But I have been taking some sinus tablets now because I literally cannot deal with not being able to breathe anymore. I'll insert a picture of like the before and after. I took a picture last night of just my side profile in the bath. I wasn't in the bath, I was sitting on the edge of it, but don't worry. I don't know why I did it there anyway, but yeah, I took a picture of my side profile, and I'll compare it for you guys to the side profile picture I took before I went in for the op, just so that you can go and see like how it's healing. It is still very, very swollen, and he said this is not how it's gonna look, so yeah, but I'm excited and I am healing, and I am very, very blessed to have had the operation that I wanted. So I will catch up with you guys later. Bye. It is also worth noting, I'm not going to be able to see how I'm doing this, so bear with, that most of the time, at the moment, I look like this. for 20 minutes on and off a day. Hey guys, so usually I wouldn't really record something like this or post it, but I'm having a really bad time at the moment. I'm so overtired. I cannot get proper sleep at night, and I think it's just causing me to be really panicky, and I just don't feel good today. My nose is sore. I can't blow my nose. I keep crying. I still can't blow my nose. Yeah. It's just been one of those days, which doesn't mean it won't get better. It will get better. I'm having a bit of a sort of drama, and I'm absolutely sure that it's like mental as well, and I'm quite aware of what my plastic surgeon said to me before I went in for the operation, and that it takes 6 months to properly heal, to see what the nose will look like, and I'm just really unhappy right now. Just really unhappy. Just still hating my profile, and I can't decide if it's just because I'm used to hating it so much, or if it's, I mean, it has genuinely gotten worse. I mean, it has genuinely gotten worse, in terms of like a bump on the top of the nose here, profile wise, but I'm fairly sure with all the research I've done that it's just swelling, because I have very thin skin, and because it was a really big procedure they did, which I'm aware of, I know intellectually, but I know this is so bad to say, but I just wanted it to be perfect, and I'm not really coping with this right now, so I've had better days. And I also happened to be stung by a bee today, which has never happened to me in my entire life before, but apparently today is the day for bee stings. Who knew? So just having a bit of a crappy day, really. Anyway, on to the next one. It's Sunday. I have to continue with going to college tomorrow, which, to be honest, I just don't feel mentally prepared for it. But it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. So yeah, I will flew in again tomorrow. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, I'm sure like I'll be laughing at myself later. I really hope so, and I'm sure you guys will be laughing at me for this. But yeah, it's just the side profile here. There's just this bump here where the dorsal hump was, and I'll put two pictures side by side comparison, one from today and one from when I just got the splint off, and you can definitely see a bump. Just hope it's swelling.
Everyone, so I assume you have just finished watching the vlogs and everything about how things went. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful. I hope you know, if you're considering having something like this done, I hope that this has been helpful to you. If it has been helpful, please give this video a like and leave a little comment below for me. And yeah, if you have already had a nose job, if there's anything else that you think should have been added to the video, leave it in the comments below, because then everybody who watches this video can also see your comment. And I will link a couple of other ones, couple of other YouTube videos, the ones that I watched before I went in for my surgery. yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope this has been helpful. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I obviously, well, enjoyed having it. I guess is not the right thing, but like, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful, and yeah, hope you guys have a really good week further, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye! Look at that side profile.